Raise your hand if you've ever uploaded a song to DistroKid or TuneCore, watch it go live on Spotify, and then nothing happened. No plays, no playlists, just silence. That silence is not a distribution problem. It's a strategy problem. Distribution has been democratized. Anyone could put music on Spotify. That's the good news. The bad news? So can everyone else. The music industry gatekeeps information. The shift opens the gate. Welcome to the shift.
So, welcome to phase 2 of the shift. In episodes 1 through 4, you built the foundation, your identity, the sound, the product, and your recording. Don't skip mastering, right? Now we shift to getting your music out there. The next 4 episodes will give you a system to actually reach people with that music.
And it starts with understanding the infrastructure that delivers your music to listeners. Because most artists get this wrong, not because it's hard, but because nobody explains it clearly.
Right? I feel like there's less to explain and more about explaining it clearly. Like, what do you think the most common misconception artists have about distribution?
Oh man. Most artists think distribution also means marketing.
Ooh,
They believe distribution companies are supposed to market your music to DSPs. Distribution companies are like warehouses. Your music is a product that they ship out to stores, DSPs, and they inform stores ahead of time of the incoming product, but they don't promote a particular product unless the distributor has information, which is your pitch.
absolutely. Dre, can I just say that I started in digital and physical distribution? And I think if people took time to understand how things get to market, they'd have a better understanding of the role that they play with this. So before we get into this, Dre, I just want to be very clear. There is no one best music distribution service. Each company has unique features, might be super important to some artists and not at all important to others.
Every artist situation is different. The ones I'm going to mention are most accessible in helping you get started. Because remember, that's what our focus here is, you getting started. So let's start. There's DistroKid, $22.99 a year. You get unlimited uploads. You get 100% of royalties. It's the fastest payout in the game. It's an easy interface. It's best for most of you indie artists that are just starting out. Very easy to work through. Then there's TuneCore. It's $9.99 a single, $29.99 an album per year. This is an annual renewal. You keep 100% of your royalties. Has a lot of great analytics. Publishing administration is available too, if you like, for an add-on fee. And then there's CD Baby. CD Baby is $9.95 per single, so one-time fee. It's $29 an album one time. They take 9% of royalties. There's no annual renewal. They also offer sync licensing and publishing admin. There's Amuse. Amuse has a free tier with limited features. Their pro tier is available with more features. They pay attention to songs that are gaining traction, and they offer licensing deals to artists off the platform. And then finally, one that most people know, a lot of people know, there's UnitedMasters. Their free tier, they take 10%, and their paid tier, which is $5.99 a month, you get to keep 100%. They have a really strong brand partnership with Apple Music and other brands, and their integration also with Apple Music is a really, really on point.
The real difference isn't price, actually. It's features. It'll always be features. And for me, it's customer service. This is a relationship game. This is a real understanding of how the music works. I wish more people understood that they need the opportunity to speak to somebody. We all do, right? Like, if
Mm.
something goes wrong, I need to know who I can talk to. So, what matters is customer service, payout speed, playlist pitching tools, royalty split management for collaborators, publishing administration, and sync licensing opportunities.
Agreed. It really is. Reby, with the indie artists you've worked with, what distributor have they used, and what's really been their experience?
I know artists who have used every single one of these distributors, from ones that aren't even mentioned, right? And each
Mhm.
have their pros and cons. From a label perspective, what does Paradigm look like when you think about a distribution partner?
Well, obviously there is a difference from using a DistroKid versus on for an indie artist to a label. Um, when you have a label distributor, you are looking for that customer service. You are looking for an account representative, someone that's going to handle your account. You are looking for definitely a more one-to-one work experience. And obviously, your releases and all those things are being carefully looked at. And that's pretty much where it differs from an indie artist who is just like, hey, I put my music out. I want to see if it can be pitched. Those are some light things you look at from the indie side, but from a label side, there's a lot more that you're looking at and needing because you're servicing more artists.
Right. So your pros and con checklists might look a little different depending on if you're a single artist or if you're a label with a variety of artists and where they're being distributed.
Right.
Right. Well, let's talk about demystifying the algorithm a little bit because I know a lot of people are like, oh, as we said at the top, you think distributing your music is actually marketing your music. There's playlist pitching tools, which are beautiful and you should absolutely be using. But let's break down DSPs and actually what they do. We know we throw around this acronym, I think, a little too lightly without understanding exactly what it is. The D is for digital, the S is for service, and the P is for provider. These DSPs are Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Qobuz, YouTube Music, and Tidal. These aren't just platforms. They're algorithms. They're built to people's taste and liking. Your discover portion of whatever platform you use is based on what you listen to, right? And these algorithms reward specific behaviors.
Right. So what really triggers Spotify's algorithm? There are five signals that Spotify actually tracks.
Mhm.
They one track the save rate. Do listeners save your music, your song to their library? Two, a completion rate. Do they listen to the whole song or do they skip? Three, playlist ads, editorial, algorithmic, user generated. And four, repeat listeners. Are people coming back to your music? And lastly, five, it's a share rate. Are listeners actually sharing it?
Right. People often think about pre-saving, or what's really common now is forever save, right? So let me
Right.
give you the pre-save or the forever save strategy. Getting pre-saves before your release tells the algorithm, tells the people who have listened to you before or people like you that there's somebody to be interested in. They already like something like this. So now we should point them in this direction. Again, it's rewarding behavior. This directly affects your release radar, your Discover Weekly placement. Pre-saves are free marketing. Pre-saves are free marketing. Please
Hmm.
use them. Use them, use them, use them. And please understand that a forever save means that if a fan forever saves your song, no other song has to be saved again.
DSP listeners are governed by behavior. And as a result, DSPs have three different types of playlists. One, an editorial. That's typically curated by the DSP's editorial team. You can pitch through Spotify for artists, Apple Music for artists, Tidal for artists, and it has to be done 7+ days before release. Two, algorithmic. That's release radar. That's Discover Weekly. That's radio. That's triggered by how and what people are listening to on the platform. And then three, you have your user generated playlists. These are created by fans and curators. Some of you have your own playlists on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to. This is the ground game that you need to focus on.
Right. Because let's talk about how people think they can game the algorithm. right? You can't trick this. This is bigger than us. You can't fake streams or you will get removed. You can only
Right.
feed it real signals. And those signals come from like real fans genuinely engaging with your music, which is why everything we taught in phase one absolutely matters. Like there's editorial playlists that I know people are dying to get on, but they weren't just paying somebody to get on that playlist. It's something that has to be stimulated from real growth. Like you have to have fans that are truly listening in order to gain this kind of support.
Exactly. Playlists. I remember when Spotify first came on the scene and brought about the rise of more DSPs. And there was a time, man, where playlists were everything. Like literally, as I used to tell people, playlists had the industry in the chokehold for like over a decade. Like it wasn't there was nothing else. It was, hey, can you get me on a playlist? Hey, I want to get on this playlist. Hey, can you pitch me? Do you guys pitch this? And it was a frenzy. It was like blood in the water, right? For sharks. And I gotta tell you, editorial playlists they do they do not they do not necessarily say that you are growing, your music is growing organically, that people are actually really listening. To be honest, something that you all should know, right? So, as many times as I've heard about how artists look at monthly listeners and how artists view followers, especially on platforms like, well, Spotify, because Spotify has its vanity metrics. The thing that artists always focused on, and still there's still artists that focus on, is monthly listeners. Let me help you with something. Monthly listeners does not mean that you have 40,000 people that actually, quote unquote, listen to your music. Those listeners are received or are tabulated, if you will, because of playlists your music is placed on, especially editorial playlists, and people that are just engaging with your music, but they're not following you. That's why you'll see some artists that have an amount of monthly listeners. It's like, whoa. And then you look at their followers and you're like, wait, you have 100,000 monthly listeners, but you only have 1,000 followers. You only have 1,200 followers. The reason is because, yes, their music is in the algorithm. It's in the algorithm and it's it's being sent out to those people who have those listening behaviors. So, most artists think that their job is done when they press upload. It's on Spotify. Great. So are 100,000 other songs that came out today. Distribution isn't your strategy, it's your infrastructure. Your strategy is what happens after you press upload. Getting your music on the platform is step one. Getting your music heard on the platforms, that's the rest of this season.
I love that, Dre. There's nothing that frustrates me more than people saying, like, I uploaded, it's out there. And I said, how are you going to attract people to listen to it? I absolutely think that people need to see the difference between uploading and having a plan.
Agreed.
So let's give a little action to this. You know, we love an action step. So this week's assignment, I want you guys to choose your distributor if you haven't done so already. Set up your account with one of them, but do not upload. Hold the upload. We're going to build your release strategy in episode 6. A release strategy. You have the infrastructure, we're headed towards your release strategy. Now, get the infrastructure ready, and then we'll come back to this. The second action, go to artist.spotify.com, and claim your Spotify artist profile. If you haven't done this already, I'm going to emphasize that this is one of the most important things that you need to do. You also need to do it on YouTube and every other DSP. But for now, go to artist.spotify. Then I want you to go over to Apple and do the same, artist.apple.com. Okay. These are your dashboards. This is where you can find out all the data about your music, the tools, the playlisting. This is where you find out who's listening to you, where they're based. You even get a beautiful little map. So please don't hesitate to go look at that, right? Like you can see where your listeners are, the demographic of your listeners, maybe where you need to do a show next if we're keeping it 100. And then third, if you already have music on platforms, log into these artist dashboards this week and look at this data even closer. Where are your listeners? What songs perform best? Which songs are people still listening to that maybe you released before? What's your save rate? If you don't know your numbers, how do you expect anybody else to come on your team and help you with them?
And that is, listen, this is preparation, not delay. We're loading the gun this week. Next week, we're aiming it.
Dang, Dre, you're ready. I love this. I love getting to this part. Okay, you guys have got the infrastructure at home, and now you need the strategy. Because dropping a song without a plan is like opening a store and not telling anybody the address. You ever go to
Abs.
Google? You go to
Oh
Google Place
man.
and it shows there's blank information. They don't have a website. They don't have a menu. You're like, what am I trying to address here?
Absolutely. Episode 6 is your release is a campaign. We're building your full rollout plan 6 weeks before the drop to 4 weeks after. This is the episode that changes how you release music forever. Yeah, we'll see you Thursday.
I like that. And of course, if this episode shifted anything in you, we need you to tell at least one artist friend who needs to hear it. And make sure you check out High Note for the full annotated experience. We'll see you Thursday. Peace.